Cheers and welcome my friends, I'm Horath and this is a Let's Peek for Warbanners, a fantasy tactics game with RPG elements, developed by Kreslin Games, a Russian developer sitting in St. Petersburg. They've been so kind and have given me a copy of the game free of charge so that I can show it to you. And if you're unfamiliar with the Let's Peek format that I do on my channel, it's basically a single video impression-y sort of video where I try to present you a worthy game. Since I'm not a traditional reviewer, I sort of take the liberty of actually not putting games that I don't like on the channel. So if you see it pop up, it's probably good. Right, so what is this game? It's old school in the presentation, but it has a lot of depth in the mechanics, and it's basically a tactics game where you manage your own mercenary company. It sounds a little bit like BattleBrothers, but it is set in a fantasy world, and it is not in an open world, but instead you have 42 missions that you try to go through. You have two troop types. You have heroes and you have normal troops, and you play turn-based battles on the hex field. But yeah, that's about enough of me waffling on. We're going to... Oh right, no, I should tell you that it is being released tomorrow on the 18th of October for 20 bucks on Steam. You're gonna find a link in the description if you actually want to head on over there. Right, I've prepared a save game where I can show you basically all the elements of the game. Okay, so this is our current mercenary company. These are the Silver Griffins. I don't think you can actually change the name because there's a story behind the group. But what you can do is you can change the name of your soldiers. So this nameless archer, I might want to rename him into Chungus. Cheers, Jim Sterling. You have two types of troops. You have heroes that you can't rename. Roderick over here is currently our only hero. And then you have normal troops, like these archers, swordsmen, or that priestess. You can hire new mercenaries. You can currently see that I'm 7 of 8 mercenaries currently. You can gain a lot more as the game progresses. This is still rather early in the game. And there are a bunch of additional troop types in here. So you've already seen the peasant who can attack over 2 tiles. We have some swordsmen. These are sort of the basic guys that you have available from the beginning. The archer is just firing stuff. So that's pretty fun. Then you have the priestess who is illuminating hexes, which is one of the mechanics that I'm gonna get to once we're in battle. So there's sort of a light dark thing for each hex. That is going to influence how well a unit fights. So these guys, for example, like to fight in day. If they're fighting in shaded or even dark hexes, they're not going to do as well. Whereas creatures of the night, like zombies, they actually really like to fight in the dark. So if they do that, they get certain bonuses. So what you want to do is manipulate the battlefield so that your guys that like the light are also fighting in the light. There are other characters like the dwarves over here that actually don't care about illumination. They just fight everywhere equally well. So yeah, that's just one of the nifty systems, one of the deep systems that the game has that I actually really like and that are not common for games like this. Alright, so the priestess, then we have the dancer. You get the idea. These are kind of the quick damage dealers. You have knights, you have mages, paladins, and then you have 3 types of dwarven warriors, and then you have an elven warrior over here. And these all have different abilities that actually make this this game on a tactical level, like BattleBrothers on crack. Because you have a huge amount more combinations that you can do in battle. Alright, we're gonna get to that in a little bit. I'm gonna show you a battle for sure. So you can see that these all have different spells, different abilities. These guys, for example, can awaken trees, just random trees on the map, and can actually make them into ants, trees that can move and attack. So that's pretty nifty. Runesmiths can use some magic, as can mages. A lot of these guys are in there. They can gain experience. So our current Silver Griffins, for example, Roderick over here has already leveled up, so he's level 2. You really want to try to funnel experience towards your units and keep the experienced ones that you have alive. There are certain artifacts in the game, like for example my hero over here has a regeneration belt that gives him +1 health every turn. That's also really nice. I have also a bow that does additional damage on one of my archers. So there are these things. You can't really sell those artifacts. I actually would like to see a way to sell them, because if you are having problems with the money, it would be kind of nice to have that as a last resort. But apparently no one is interested in buying those super magical, powerful artifacts. I'm not sure why. By the way, I'm playing here on Nightmare difficulty, and Nightmare actually means Nightmare. You really have to do your best to get through this on Nightmare. It's actually, I'm actually rather stumped at this point in the game, but I chose this to show you what we can do. So I think that is enough about the units. They have a bunch of attributes. I'm not going to go into these too much because I don't want to bore you with them, but it is a very deep system. So we have stamina, we have morale, we have HP. If the morale reaches 0, they're going to run away. There are certain abilities to bring up morale. Stamina. If people only have 50% of their stamina, they hit less. If they have 25% of their stamina, they hit even worse. And if they are below a certain threshold, they won't even be able to attack. So managing stamina is actually very important. And yeah, these are the usual. Strength does the damage, accuracy decides how high your hit percentage is, evasion says if you get hit or not. That's the range of the attack. Like some characters actually have a higher range, like the archer has 7, the priestess has 4, so you can do some sort of ranged magic attack, and then you have armor against physical and armor against magical damage, and then certain spells, so the priestess is mainly focused around healing. So far so standard. This is where the game takes, this is the other screen where the game takes place. One of the 3 screens. So we had the camp screen. Actually, I'm not finished with the camp screen because they are also assistants. So these guys, they don't fight in battle, but they confer some passive or even active bonuses. This guy would allow us to actually recruit those dwarven mercenaries that we see over here. They're currently locked, so I have to have him to get access to the dwarves, but there are all kinds of different abilities. Like I went for Tisharu over here, probably too soon. Allows me to set fire on 2 empty hexes because I needed the light and I needed the fire to win against some of the zombie fights in the early game. I chose a fairly early point in the game to not spoil you too much, but yeah, there are all kinds of these guys. With some really cool abilities, like Set Shamar, for example, at the beginning of battle kills a random enemy. That's pretty powerful. I don't have the money to get that person though. We're also currently at 9 with our karma level. You can see that if I'm at 12, I'll actually be able to hire this elvish person that will then allow me to hire elvish mercenaries too. So depending on what you do in the game, your karma goes up or down. If you're being friendly and helpful, it goes up, and if you're being a dick, then it goes down. Pretty self-explanatory. There's our goal. There's the current army size. All right, on the world map, I have chosen a point in time where I can actually choose between 3 missions, show you different encounters. So this is our group. This is where we started. So we have only played 3 missions so far. So we're not too far in. This is the whole map. I guess we're gonna travel through all of it in our 42 missions. So we have Trouble is Brewing. That is going to be a fight against elves. Where the dead things are, that is a fight against the undead. And Hammerdoom's Caravan, that is going to be a fight against orcs. So the fantasy races are fairly standard Tolkien-ish races, except that the orcs are green. I'm not going to go through this thing, but we're basically asked to fight necromancers on a cemetery, and this will allow me to actually show you some of the mechanics. So you're gonna have sometimes you're gonna have a placement phase where you can actually put your guys on the battlefield. In this case, we are being attacked, so we don't have any placement. So we'll have to try to make our best with how our guys are placed here. And as you can see, we have some fields that are either shaded or illuminated, or completely dark over here. You can actually see that rather clearly. Inside this area, inside this green area, they can attack and move over here. Or let's say up until the orange area, they can actually move and attack. And then the red area, they can only move. So they got to use their action points a bit carefully. Moving also takes up stamina. Now, why is this important with the light? Because these guys will actually fight worse if there's no light around. So having a priest who is illuminating the area around them is actually quite useful. The other thing that you have to take into account is directions. You can at any point right-click on anyone on the battlefield to see what they can do. So these necromancers can raise zombies out of corpses. They can go for a frost ring, which is actually rather nasty since you want to bunch up around your priest to have the illumination and the light. I could have placed some fires on the map, but I only want to demonstrate the light lighting in here, and then we're going to have a look into one of the other battles. So around this priest, it's always going to be light. As you can see, the circle of light moves around that character, and what we want to do is we want to place these guys around each other. And yeah, the placement is actually rather important because depending on where an enemy attacks you, they're going to get either accuracy bonuses or they're going to get no bonuses. So if they stand right behind you, they have a way bigger chance to hit you. So you really want to place your people correctly. Now the thing is that's not free. You have to actually pay action points to have your guys positioned correctly. So what I'm going to do is basically bunch all these guys up. It's not going to be great. Now what you see towards the enemies over here is that, for example, if I click on him, you can see 4 and 30. So I have a 30% chance to do 4 damage. I don't think the damage actually varies, so what you see is what you get if you manage to hit. Like if I go and... and I missed that 80% chance, because of course I do. That's just how it goes. For the archers, the further the enemy is away, not really the better, but if you get close to them, their hit chance increases, but if they attack guys that are engaged in melee, hit chance goes down dramatically, I guess, because it is very difficult for the archers to take a shot on an engaged enemy without hitting one of your own guys. I guess that is simulating that. So we can, or we could have actually blessed our guys if we wanted to, but as you can see, we really want to fight in this lighted up area, so because these guys over here, the zombies, they really like to fight in the night, and that makes this fight rather difficult. I mean, especially on Nightmarish, the enemy is going to exploit the fact that I have to keep my guys close. I will try to move in, I will try to take out my priestess, and they will do their stupid frost ring until my guys die. Frost ring actually has very negative consequences for the stamina of your guys. Now the good thing is that these guys are very vulnerable to range attacks, so you can probably take them out at some point just with a range attack. And if you hold control, then you can see your attack chances on each of these fields. Just press and hold control, and then you can see that the hit chances actually change a lot. So that's actually very useful. I like that. Right, I'm not going to finish this fight though. I want to show you the other fights too. This is a very difficult fight. I haven't managed to win it yet, actually, because at this point I think I made a couple mistakes in the first 3 missions, and nightmarish difficulty actually means nightmarish, so it's rather difficult. Right, so let's load the other point in time. Right, we're back here with the Silver Griffins. I don't have enough money to even fill up to my 8 max of people because I'm missing the money. I actually wasted some money by losing and rehiring swordsmen, which is not good. One, because I have a couple of green swordsmen in my group, but also because I had to spend 40 bucks each time. Right, now let's have a look at the elf fight. That's actually very interesting. So we can make a choice if we actually want to attack the elves, or if we do not want to attack the elves. We have been asked by a group of dwarves that have started to cut down that forest. They want us to help them remove the elves that are enraged that the dwarves just cutting down their forest. And of course, we're going to help them. We lost 1 karma for that, so it's not a good act to actually hurt the elves. Now what we're going to do is we can set fire, because that is what our assistant allows us to do. And you can actually manipulate your environment in various ways. You can freeze rivers or water to pass over it. You can put stuff on fire, which will actually take damage. So there's actually a fair amount of strategy involved in that. I really like that. We have some allies in this fight. These blue guys are dwarves. They are going to help us take these guys down. And these are the enemies. Singing Sword, which we could also hire if we have the karma that we need. These guys have been buffed because of illumination and terrain. So they really like to stand next to trees. Forest Heart. That gives them more accuracy and more evasion. So you want to use elves if you fight in the woods, whereas these guys, what's that? Oh, that's a tree trunk. So that's basically the work that the dwarves have done up until this point. The dwarves actually like to stand next to stones, so they receive more strength if they're adjacent to a stone. Which is kind of a funny idea to do that. I really like that. And this is the placement mode, by the way. So I can actually move these guys around. I can also switch them if I press Control. Fairly nice thing to do. I wonder if I can actually... No, I can't place my allies. So let's just start the game. We're just going to stay back a little bit, and we're going to see what the elves do, because they actually have a very nifty ability where they can change these trees into ends. And that's what these guys are doing. They only have the mana points to do that once, and they can't regenerate them. But if you actually happen to fight in a forest, this can be a pretty powerful ability. Now, these guys are interesting because they're unstable, so at some point they're just gonna stop existing. They lose 1 health at the beginning of each turn. But for 30 turns, you have a very powerful unit, so this is gonna be one crazy tough fight against these guys. Now we could do certain things like we do have the fire arrows. The unit receives 1 strength if adjacent to a fire, so we can use that to buff our archers over here, and maybe actually try to take those fire guys out. We can also buff our people with bless. Gives them additional evasion and strength. So if we do that over here, we're almost able to take everyone into the range of that blast spell. Let's do that. Let's see how things go. I'm actually willing to let these guys just come. I'm gonna end my turn. Now it's a bit of a problem that we can't control our allies, but oh well. That's fine. They have their own agency, I guess. They do have mana potions. Yeah, potions are actually very important in this game. I always make the mistake of not using enough potions, which comes to bite me in the ass often. Right, so we can now hit this end over here. We're not going to do a huge amount of damage, but oh well. It's better than nothing. 4 damage, 3 damage. This will be a very difficult fight, but we do have some allies, and I'm gonna let them come. I use my allies as a meat shield. Now, the thing is that these guys are not very they're not very strong. They only have 19 HP, which makes them sort of glass cannons. They can do a lot of damage if they come close to you. But they're not the strongest guys. Okay, let's try to help our allies further. We still have that fire over here, which gives our guys more firing strength. They've been blessed and they have the fire arrows, which is a really neat idea. I really like what you can do with the area. Like these dwarves over here, for example, they can actually build barricades if they wanted to. They can also cut down a tree and try to actually kill an enemy by cutting down the tree. So, whereas the elves can awaken those trees, I really like how you can actually shape the battlefield so that it works for you. Same here with the fire, same with the assistance. And you really end up with a crap ton of combinations that can help you take down the enemy in very different ways. Like you can see that this game would go very differently. Or this match would go very differently if we weren't fighting in the woods, because then the elves wouldn't have all that much of a great time. Now, this guy is already very fatigued. He also has been massively debuffed. He's stunned. He cannot move. Things are basically very bad for him. He's gonna die very soon. He also has a very low level of stamina, and stamina doesn't really return all that much or all that fast. So we're probably gonna lose this one. I actually managed to kill one of these Ents, which is interesting to me. Yeah, they're killing the dwarves, but at this point I have no problem, because I think the dwarves actually deserve a bit of a punishment for cutting down those woods. And we lost our strength buff for the fire. Now you can buy potions so that you can make more fires and all that. I think we're gonna leave this fight. I think you've seen what you could see from that one, and we're gonna go and jump to the orc fight real quick. Because that's something that I want to show you as well. So we've seen the undead, we've seen the elves. Let's go to the orcs. So this guy, we're just protecting caravan, which is a shitty mission in BattleBrothers, and apparently it's also a shitty mission in here, because you're not being paid all that much, but you're taking huge risks. So we've been attacked by orcs. These guys have very different units. They have these bull riders. They have normal warriors, they have archers, they have berserkers, and this group also has an orc war boss, which is kind of nasty, because he's actually raising their morale. He has the battle cry, so they certainly took a letter out of the standard fantasy book for these guys, but it really doesn't bother me. I mean, could have been nicer with different fantasy races, but on the other hand, they don't require a lot of explanation. Like, you know where you are if you see those orcs. You know that they are big, that they're probably not very subtle, and that they're gonna try to deal out the punishment. Now we have certain rules where we can put that fire. Let's just try to make life difficult for these guys over here, because the war boss is gonna come towards us. We have some allies over here, but only some swordsmen, 2 swordsmen and an archer. That's probably not gonna help a massive amount. Like, this is not a battle where we're all that well placed. So let's bring you over here. Let's bring all these guys together. We should probably try to actually take out the archers, if I think about it. Yeah, this is going to increase our shot chance over here. I just want to show you what these guys can do. Let's end the turn. Our allies are attacking now. Yeah, would probably have been a good idea to actually try bunch up with our allies over here, but oh well. I'm gonna make our stand over here. The war boss has actually used his battle cry and has boosted his friends. And our first archer is already having a very bad time with those bull riders, who I think have sort of a charge. Yeah, moves to an empty hex, attacks enemy in the facing hex with double strength. Has quite a range. It's actually rather nasty that we have to fight these guys, but oh well. Mistakes have been made. That's just what happens. Different units have different traits, like over here. This guy, if he stands next to someone else with a shield, he receives a +5 evasion from all ranged attacks. So moving these guys as couples is sort of imperative. If you actually want to survive your battles. So what we're gonna do is move him down. Now these guys should actually have a bunch of evasion. Yeah, each of them has 11 now. And if we can blast them, then we're gonna look even better. And we're only gonna be able to blast 2 of them, but it's still fine. Our hero over here also has a shield. This is fine. Don't worry. It's totally fine. Can totally win this. Or not. They're attacking our priestess. Priestess can heal, so she's actually rather important, because free heals and all. Like, priestesses, in any case, can also meditate to gain some mana back, which is rather important. Yeah, they're actually missing these guys, because they have a lot of evasion. Our hero over here also has that with the shield, so he's also really hard to hit at this point. Just standing right next to each other. It's probably best to always have 2 together, at least. Having them work in pairs of 2. Now, here comes into play what we learned about those units. So you can see that he is standing facing that guy. Can actually move him around. So he's because this guy is facing in that direction. We're attacking him from the side, at least a tad. So we're getting a higher chance because we're doing that. Whereas we're attacking this guy face on, head on. And therefore our attack chance is reduced. Now what I can do is, because for some reason enemies don't really care how I move, I can actually move behind enemies, but this will make me vulnerable, especially because now this guy is going to be able to hit me in the back. Well, yeah, so that's what I wanted to present in this battle. Each of these missions actually represents a significant tactical conundrum that I enjoy very much, and the old school presentation really shouldn't distract you from the tactical and mechanical depth in the game. Like the illumination system, I think, is a stroke of genius. I really like that one. I haven't really seen that one all that much in other games, to be quite honest, especially that the priest is sort of carrying around the light around them, which makes them a very interesting unit, but also the special abilities on the other units. I gotta say I really enjoy that one. So I'm currently not all that fit in terms of health. Otherwise, I would have started a complete Let's Play with it. If you still want to see a Let's Play, then let me know in the comments. Let me know what you think about the game. And if you want to be in the actual Warbanners series, so because I can rename people, so drop a name for your character and tell me what you want to be as well. If you found this video useful in one way or another, then please leave a like or drop a comment. If you didn't, tell me why in the comments too, so I can improve. And if you want to see more stuff like that, if you want to see more Let's Peeks, more tactical gameplay, more strategic gameplay, then please consider subscribing to the channel. Warbanners is going to be out on the 18th of October for 20 bucks on Steam. Find the link in the description. Thanks. Bye bye.